Hey everyone, it's Kothas, and before we get into the video today, I just wanted to take a quick second to thank everyone for all the support the channel has been getting lately. I can't believe we're almost at 200 subscribers, so thank you very much. It's really motivating me to make more content like this. But in today's video, we're going to be going over how to start playing Destiny, especially if you're a new or returning player that might just have no idea what to do when they start up the game. This video is for you guys. So we're going to be starting off pretty broad by covering things like how the live service system works. We'll go over some power level stuff, what activities there are in the game and why you should be doing them, and hopefully this will help you decide whether or not you want to play Destiny. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Destiny has a ton of content, I'll admit that, and I know how overwhelming it can seem to log on for the first time and see a million quest icons and feel like you have to do everything right away to get caught up. Thankfully, you don't need to think this way. My brother-in-law just had the same concern, but was able to complete his first Grandmaster Nightfall after just a little over a month of playing. And keep in mind, Grandmasters are the toughest content to access by far. But if you're wanting to dive into some endgame stuff like raids and dungeons with your friends that have been playing for years, you can do that pretty much right when you boot up the game if you want. The game makes it fairly easy to get your power level up and doesn't require you to do insanely difficult content to get you there either. Play how you want to play and level at your own pace. If you want to be a casual player that likes to raid every now and then, you can totally do that. Or you could be a heavy grinder like me and go for the perfect stats and weapon rolls. If there's one takeaway you get from this video, it's that if you're new or returning, you can play the way you want and still have access to around 90% of the game with relative ease. Another reason why people think they're too late to start is with the live service side of the game, so let's talk about that really quick. Destiny's live service is active. Tons of content all the time. We get one big expansion every year, 4 seasons, a lot of events, and even a weekly refresh. The yearly expansion often brings a large campaign, raid, and a big change to the game, such as Stasis coming with Beyond Light and weapon crafting releasing with the Witch Queen. Lightfall is going to bring Strand, by the way, which I'm really excited about. Every season also brings with it plenty of new content, such as new activities, weapons, and adjustments to the sandbox. Almost all of the content from the season will stick around during the duration of the entire expansion, so as of right now we can do pretty much anything from seasons 16, 17, and 18. With each season comes a battle pass, which gives a unique transmog set, exotic, and a bunch of materials to help you level and become more powerful. We've also been getting a new raid or dungeon every season. As mentioned, Destiny's short-term flow is on a weekly schedule with all activities refreshing to let you re-earn powerful and pinnacle rewards, a new Nightfall and Legacy dungeon to run, a new seasonal mission to progress the story, and even more. With Destiny, there's pretty much always something new happening, which in itself is a great reason to jump in. Yes, a lot of new loot goes away with every new expansion that comes out, but there's almost always an equal or better current thing to what you missed out on. Seriously. You could start the game right now and be extremely powerful in a short period of time. With each new season and expansion, the power level also increases. Power level should be a very familiar concept if you've played Destiny before. It hasn't changed too much, but if you're new, the way it works is this level here is the average power of our gear or base power level, plus the bonus artifact power we get from earning XP or artifact power. The goal here is to get this number up. Just so you know what to expect, every major expansion will bring a 200 power level increase, and each season will bring a 10 level increase. If you're brand new or haven't logged in a while, you'll be starting at 1350, the minimum level during the year of the Witch Queen. As of season 18, the current season, the highest base power you can hit is 1580, with the bonus power from our artifact going as high as we want from the XP earned that season. If you're at 1350, you'll need to first try to hit the soft cap of 1520. This is done by doing pretty much anything in the game. You'll be leveling up so quickly this can be done in just a few hours if you do it right. Once you hit 1520, your next goal is to hit the powerful cap, which can only be done by completing powerful and pinnacle reward activities along with decrypting prime engrams. As mentioned towards the beginning of the video, I'd highly recommend playing the Witch Queen campaign before you do anything else in the game, as it will not only help you level up quickly, but will also initiate certain quest lines that will give you access to more activities. Not to mention getting caught up on the awesome story with Savathun and the Witness. Completing the campaign on Legend is an option. It's very tough, but it will get you automatically a set of 1540 gear once you finish the final mission, which is a free 20 levels into the powerful gear tier. The powerful gear tier will stop at 1570, so your final 10 levels will only be earnable by earning pinnacle rewards. Keep in mind, all of this is as of season 18. This will change in the future, so just keep that in mind. So now that we know the basics of how leveling works, let's explain why we want to level. In short, it gives us access to higher level, tougher content. Legend and Master content, for example, gives us access to a lot of really good rewards, like more pinnacles, unique loot, and rare materials needed for empowering our guardians, like Ascendant Shards and Enhancement Prisms. Grandmaster Nightfalls, the highest level, highest reward content in the game, are literally inaccessible unless you reach a certain level of power. So let's talk about what we can do in the game. Remember that you can play any way you want and still hit the max power cap, which is really nice. But you will miss out on some awesome loot if you completely neglect certain areas of a game. So the more of this you do, the more unique loot you'll find and the faster you'll level up. So let's go over what activities there are, and we'll start with PvE. This will be good info if you're a new player, and consider this a refresher if you're returning to the game. So we've got Vanguard playlist strikes, Nightfalls, raids, dungeons, Dares of Eternity, seasonal activities, and 3 campaigns as our main PvE content. Each campaign thankfully only needs to be cleared once to get caught up on the story, but you'll be totally fine if you just want to do the Witch Queen campaign. The others won't be going away anytime soon, probably ever, so go back to them whenever you want. They'll always be there. Each of these PvE activities can reward unique gear for you to help you level and hit the powerful and pinnacle caps. Let's dive into these and learn more about what they are and why you should be doing them. So first up, I know I already mentioned the Witch Queen campaign already. Again, highly recommend doing this first. The campaign is totally awesome, and remember, you get a lot of gear from it to help you level. This will open up a few quest lines for us, namely the Vox Obscura and Parasite exotic quests, as well as the exotic glaive quests per character. Vanguard playlist strikes are essentially quick, match-made missions with a boss at the end. Unless you're knocking out a specific quest or something, you're going to get your 3 done each week for these for your pinnacle and not touch them again until the next week. Next, you've got Nightfalls. The weekly Nightfall will be one tougher version of a regular strike. The higher difficulty you do, the better the rewards. Completing these will also get you a chance at a Nightfall weapon drop, which are usually solid weapons with a good set of traits to go for. Nightfalls give one powerful drop for completing a few of them, and will also give a pinnacle drop for getting a score of 100,000. This most of the time needs to be done on Legend difficulty. Grandmaster Nightfalls are an even higher tier of Nightfall that rewards special, adept versions of the Nightfall weapons, and will flood you with a ton of endgame materials. As mentioned, these require a very high power level entry and aren't available until 6 weeks into the season, so make sure to get that power level up. Dares of Eternity is next and is a fun 6-player match-made 3 encounter experience that will get you a powerful reward for 3 completions and a pinnacle reward for getting a score of 250,000. Dares also gets you access to some really solid craftable weapons, and if you want to learn more about how crafting works, by the way, you can check out my weapons guide here. It's a massive part of the game now, so you definitely want to learn how to do this. Alright, let's go over some tougher stuff, starting with dungeons. You'll need a couple of friends to help you through these, especially if you're brand new. These are multi-encounter activities that can be considered mini raids. These feature more complex mechanics than a strike, so they are perfect for practicing for raids. Not to mention, they are a lot of fun. There are 5 dungeons in the game right now, but only 2 each week will grant pinnacle rewards. Each week, the newest dungeon, which as of right now is Duality, will always get you a pinnacle drop for every encounter. But the featured Legacy dungeon will only give 1 pinnacle for defeating the final boss. Legacy dungeons, by the way, are just older dungeons. So this means that going back to older content can still get you pinnacle gear, which I really like. Dungeons will have a unique armor and weapon set attached to them along with an exotic, like Galahorn for example is attached to the Grasp of Avarice dungeon. Raids are next, my personal favorite. For these, you'll need to find 5 other players. Raids are the most mechanically complex part of the game and truly require teamwork to complete. Raids work similarly to dungeons in that the newest raid will always grant a pinnacle drop for every encounter, while a legacy raid will only drop a pinnacle for defeating the final boss. The newest raid right now is King's Fall, and the legacy raid will rotate weekly, again just like dungeons. Also like dungeons, raids have unique weapon and armor sets to hunt for, along with a unique exotic, like the Touch of Malice from King's Fall for example. All of the weapons in the King's Fall and the Vow of the Disciple raids are craftable, which means that after you get enough patterns and unlock the blueprint for the gun, you can make your perfect god roll. If you don't have a group to run these with, LFG is your friend, and if you're intimidated by all of the mechanics and raids, that's okay, everyone went through it, you can do it too. I'd recommend checking out a raid guide before diving in so you have a basic idea of what you're doing first. I've got a King's Fall guide, by the way, if you want to check that out right here. Destiny also has seasonal content to do. This can be considered your storyline content and is done in a weekly episodic fashion, with usually 10 episodes to play through per season. This is nice because it really gives you a reason to come check in each week to see what's new. On top of the storyline missions, you'll get some seasonal activities such as Nightmare Containment and Catch Crash to replay as much as you want. These will have a full set of weapons attached to them, and they are all craftable too. I really love Season 18's pirate-themed weapons, by the way. They are awesome. So now that we've covered all of the main PvE activities, let's go over some PvP. This will be much shorter as PvP generally is not the main aspect of the game, but we've definitely got some stuff to cover. First, you've got a few Crucible modes you have access to. Control is a good option that will get you a pinnacle drop each week for just completing 3 matches. You don't even have to win them. There are a few other game modes that cycle through each week as well, so keep a lookout for those. The competitive game mode is a lot more sweaty, but will get you a powerful drop for winning 7 rounds. Don't feel like you have to do this if you're not a fan of PvP. Iron Banner is a PvP event that makes its way to us twice a season. It features great rewards and unique loot along with a special game mode. Eruption this last go around was a lot of fun, and you should definitely check it out when it makes its way back to the game in November. Trials of Osiris is the most competitive game mode and is around on most weekends. Trials rewards you with awesome looking gear and powerful weapons, and special variants of these weapons for getting a flawless record on your passage. But again, it's not easy to do unless you've got a coordinated fire team. I'll include Gambit in the PvP side as well. It's basically your PvPvE activity where you'll not only fight against enemy combatants, but also against enemy guardians. Personally, not my favorite game type, but playing with a full group can make it a lot better. Completing 3 Gambit matches each week will get you a pinnacle reward, and again, you don't even need to win them. To finish off our activities section, I'd like to mention that you'll be earning reputation with many of the activities vendors just by playing the game, such as Zavala for doing anything Vanguard related, Shaxx for anything Crucible related, and Saint 14 for anything Trials related, along with many more. Even Finch in the Throne World has reputation gains that you can earn some loot from. The more you play an activity, the more rep you'll earn, and you'll get access to some nice rewards out of it too. Keep a lookout for double XP in certain playlists too. It makes grinding out rep a lot easier during them. You probably have a ton of quests in your quest log if you're a returning player, and will start accumulating a lot very quickly if you're brand new. As a general rule of thumb, my recommendation is to complete anything in the Witch Queen and seasonal tabs first. Getting the Witch Queen quest done will reward you with relevant stuff to the current expansion like deep sight weapons, or access to the exotic glaive quests for example. The seasonal quests are your access to the episodic storyline missions. These also reward you with relevant seasonal currencies and materials you'll need. If you're ever overwhelmed with the amount of quests you have, you can always just abandon them and pick them up later at the quest archive. If you can, try to clear them all out though, since many quests are often the prerequisite to exotic quests or activities. Speaking of exotic quests, you should absolutely complete the And Fly the Wolves quest. You can pick this up from Shah Han in the Cosmodrome, and it rewards the Galahorn, an insanely powerful rocket launcher. Any gold color quest will lead to an exotic or an exotic catalyst, by the way, and oftentimes can passively be completed in the background, so it's worth picking up as many of these as you can. If you own Beyond Light, as painful as it is, you should be visiting the Exo Stranger on Europa to pick up the Stasis Fragment quests each week until you have them all unlocked. These are account wide, so once you unlock a fragment on one character, it's available on all characters. These fragments will allow you to take your Stasis subclass to the next level. And if you're wanting to finish up your other subclasses too, Ikora sells additional grenades and fragments for all of them for Glimmer, which is a lot easier than the Stasis quests. Well, speaking of fragments, builds are hugely important to the game now. Destiny is no longer just a shooter with some space magic, but rather a nice mixture of the two. Everything synergizes now, more than ever, so having a well thought out build will take your Guardian power and enjoyment of the game to new heights. Good builds largely depend on your playstyle and what items you currently have access to, but the newly revamped subclasses allow for tons of customization and synergies in itself. We are seriously so much more powerful than we were even just a year ago. I have a full guide to Arc, by the way, so if you want to know more about how it's changed since the revamp, make sure to check that out. Your weapons, armor, and mods are also massive components to increasing the power of your builds. For anything build related, definitely check out content creators like Mactix, Plunder the Booty, and Hater the One, just to name a few. Hopefully, as I have more time, I'll be able to come out with some awesome builds too. With builds being such a massive part of the game now, you'll need to make sure you have a good stock of mods. Ada will sell armor mods on a daily rotation, so make sure to check in and buy whatever you don't have. You never know when a mod might become meta. Banshee will also sell weapon mods, so make sure to check in with him as well. I personally don't like how you're pressured to do this every day, but thankfully it only takes a minute or two to get it done. And hopefully this changes in the future. Earning XP is a big part of the game, as XP you earn flows right into your seasonal artifact power, granting a bonus in power. This means that completing bounties and seasonal challenges are very important now because they give you tons of XP. Not to mention, XP levels your battle pass too. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the Battle Pass gets you access to a unique exotic, set of weapon ornaments, and tons of materials to help you get your Guardian more powerful. There is so much in Destiny. It was actually really tough to make a concise guide while still explaining everything as correctly as I could. I really hope this helped you understand a little bit more about what is going on in Destiny and how to somewhat wrap your head around this insanely massive game. I can't thank everyone enough for all of these super nice comments and feedback I've been getting. It really means more than you know, and it really motivates me to make more content like this. It is my goal to tackle every aspect of the game for new and returning players. I'd love to build a constantly updating library of content for new lights to learn from, as well as more advanced guides for higher level players. If any of that sounds like something you'd like to check out more of, definitely subscribe down below. This channel is here to stay. We are just getting started. Well, that's it for now, everyone. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.